I share my screen. I might just see if it's possible. If I wanted to show something.
Yes.
Yeah, because if I wanted to show something, can you then push that up?
Perfect. Excellent. Sure.
Is that showing?
It's not showing. I could add to stage, and now I can.
Just in case.
Yeah, let me see. Add to stage. Remove. Okay, I need to remove this. Remove. Add to stage.
There we are.
And
Yeah,
then
cool.
all I have to do is.
That's fine.
Okay, so I guess I need to. Is this it? There it is. Okay.
Cool.
Excellent.
I'll stop sharing for now.
Excellent. No, you can leave it. It doesn't matter. Okay, let's see who we have on board. I'm not sure if I need to have the YouTube. Okay. Great. Why do we appear as circles? Not sure. Okay. Okay, mute site. Okay. Okay, we're going to wait for a few more people to join us. Okay. Because I need to do a save. Split. Okay. Oh. Okay. Okay. Still weird. Okay, we're for those of us joining us, we are ironing out the last technical issues and waiting for a few more people to join. Sarah Witch from Germany, welcome aboard. Okay. Yeah, for those of us joining us, happy to hear where you're joining us from. Okay. Okay. Rectangle. Save. Okay. Okay, still trying to figure out why we're appearing as two circles. Although on here it seems like we are good. Show on stage. This is it. Ugh, at the stage for some reason. Okay, there it is.
Or
Okay.
bubbles.
Still bubbles. Still only me.
I kind of like the bubble, to be completely honest.
Okay. Guess we're going to stick with that because that's what we got. Show comments on stage. No, I can't do that. Style. Here we go. How about that?
Perfect.
There we go. Okay, anybody who's joining, please give us a like so we know you're around. Okay. So, Sarawech, are you familiar with Qogita? I guess only the Germans are joining on time. That's okay.
I'm happy
Excellent.
to teach.
Excellent. That's what we have Charlie here from. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start. Everything's being recorded, so don't worry. You'll always be able to watch it on replay on YouTube. But if you're here live, you get the advantage of being able to ask live questions. So so let's start off with some of the basic questions. So Charlie, first of all, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and about Qogita, including on how you pronounce it?
Yeah, sure. So I'll start with myself. And I do like talking about myself a little bit, so hopefully I don't go on for too long. So yeah, I'm Charlie. My role is the senior growth manager, which means my main job is to help new customers join the business and to help them grow within the business. And that means I do a lot of marketing work, but also I work with partnerships, the sales team, and also on the product. And a bit about me, I'm originally from Sydney in Australia. Now Ari speaks lots of different languages, but I don't think he speaks Australian because we sound fairly different where I'm from. So if anybody doesn't understand anything I've said, feel free to follow up with me afterwards and I can clarify. Um, but
Excellent.
yeah, but yeah, Qogita. So we're I feel like an easy way to think about us is if you're selling on marketplaces like Amazon is like a wholesaler, but we're not a wholesaler. We're a marketplace that hosts hundreds of vetted health and beauty suppliers, and that includes brands, distributors, and other very large turnover wholesalers. So instead of managing individual relationships, you get them all in the one place with Qogita, which brings a range of different benefits, which I'm sure we can touch upon.
Okay, so you're saying you basically aggregate brands, wholesalers, and what else did you say?
And distributors
And
into
distributors.
one. Yeah. So we're kind of like an Amazon, but instead of being Amazon's B2C, we're B2B. So we connect the brands and the distributors to the retail layer. And of course, there's lots of Amazon resellers who buy from us as well. And we also consider them to be retailers. Many of them sell through other channels too, other marketplaces, physical stores. Yeah, as long as they're businesses, they can be our customers.
Okay. And what would you say, what's the difference between, say, a wholesaler and a distributor, just for people who are uninitiated? I mean, for me, that's always, I'm always almost use it interchangeably, but I'm sure there's a difference.
Well, no, there can be overlap entirely, but I would just say a distributor is has like a agreement with a brand to distribute certain products. So a wholesaler might be a distributor for certain brands, but then also have a supply of other brands that yeah that they just have gotten some other part of the supply chain. So yeah, there is overlap.
Okay. And of course, brands are, so you also work with brands directly.
Yeah, so I think this is a really cool and exciting thing that I can share today that not a lot of people are aware of is that we are starting to work more and more with brands directly. And indeed, I think almost a big part of why we exist is to help these brands because I guess there's a lot of problems that smaller and up and coming brands face with kind of growing and distribution, where if their products get really popular in a short amount of time, the so the consumer demand can go like that, but the pace of wholesale distribution doesn't move at the speed of modern consumer demand. Where if a product trend cycle goes like that, um, to get your products out and distributed to the market, you still need to deal with these decades old, antiquated wholesale models that prioritize volume over speed and agility, basically. So we're actually trying to revolutionize and modernize, digitize the wholesale and distribution layer. So getting rid of huge minimum order requirements, manual ordering processes, long lead times, batch order cycles, centralized distribution, that are bottlenecks on brand growth, to make it really easy for brands to get their products distributed as quickly as possible. So I think because we solve a lot of problems in that space for brands, and because we have so many customers and retailers buying from us, more and more are starting to work with us. So yeah, you can already see some that we announced that we are working with directly, and more are to come.
Okay, so that's really exciting, and that's and explain. I mean, explicitly, what is the advantage of clients of Qogita, your Qogita, your direct relationship to brands? Because I think it's
So
might be clear for some, but not for everybody.
so advantages of people buying from Qogita.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I suppose the obvious thing is if we work directly with the brands, um, usually we can make sure we get the best prices and Europe leading prices, especially if they're brands that um, are really trying to grow and get a footprint in Europe. Some of them don't even have official distributors, or again, there can be lots of bureaucracy and difficulties in establishing that across Europe. So yeah, so price is one point, but also I think something that always matters for selling on Amazon is making sure you have like authentic products. And Cogita offers a lot of service. Cogita only offers authentic products, and we offer a lot of solutions to prove that to prove chain of supply, to help people if they're selling on marketplaces like Amazon show authenticity to the marketplaces. But I guess the absolute best way to do that is if we're working directly with brands as well. So I guess it's just it also is another mark that we're all the products we have are fully authentic and um, and approved for resale on a lot of these platforms.
Okay. Okay. That's very interesting. Yeah. So I went a little bit off script. So let's go back to some of the questions that I prepared. So okay. So one of the big questions that people ask are people that are self-employed. Can they buy from Cogita? So what's called a sole trader or an autónomo in Spain. Can they buy from Cogita?
Uh, yes, they can, but they need to have a registered business entity. So they need to have a VAT number basically to sign up if you're in Europe. So As long as you have a VAT number, then and like a business, even if you're a sole trader, you can create an account and purchase on Qogita.
Yeah. So, I mean, just as a side note, we get a lot of questions of people saying, "Can I still sell on Amazon if I am not registered as a sole trader here in Spain and Autonomo?" Theoretically, you can't, right? So you can get away with it for a while, but if you're serious about your business, in any case, you should register as a sole trader, whatever country you're in, because as one wise man said, the only thing in life that is sure is death and taxes, and we do have to pay taxes, all of us. So might as well bite the bullet. If you're really serious about your business, then you should probably register anyway. Okay, so next question. Um, is there an annual fee? Is there a minimum order quantity? How does that work?
Yeah, so signing up and creating an account on Qogita is completely free and super easy. So it's completely risk free to and cost free to create an account, have a look around, and see some of the great deals that are there to be had. And Qogita itself doesn't impose any minimum order requirements, but given we have 500 over 500 suppliers on the platform. Each one will have their own minimum order requirement. So you will have to make sure you satisfy these. But we've used our size to work with these suppliers to bring them down so they aren't hugely so high that it's very difficult to reach. So usually they're between 300 to 600 euros on average. So if you're like that, they shouldn't be too much of an issue, but they do exist, which is inevitable when you're purchasing wholesale, really. But yeah, we make it really clear on every product page. You can see every supplier offer and you can see each supplier's minimum order value. And when you're checking out your cart, you can see what the supplier's minimum order value is and how close you are to meeting it with a progress bar. And we give you heaps of tips and hints as to yeah, to make it easy to reach that minimum order value.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And there is no monthly fee. There's no annual fee, correct?
No, no, it's all free. I guess the business model is all about bringing all these offers and all the selection into one place. So you can get every beauty brand, great prices on everything, and then offering a fantastic service on top of it. So it's seamless ordering of everything all in one place. And then for that entire offering, all we charge is a very small markup on top of the price is a service fee for basically what we offer. But we're not like an Amazon who charging or fair, like charging 10, 20, 30%, whatever it is on top. We take a very small take rate because we know price is so important in wholesale, and so we want to make sure we pass on the best prices. So yeah, you just know that you're going to get great selection and good prices on Qogita.
Okay. Okay, that's very, very important. So the question that everybody on everybody's mind that people always ask is, okay, if it's such a great business, why, or does Qogita sell on Amazon, and if they don't, why not?
It's a good question. I suppose well, the obvious answer is that we just don't hold any stock ourselves. So because a we're a middleman slash aggregator of we're trying to like bring the whole market to one place, but we don't want to hold any stock. That's also our model. We're just connecting the buyers to the sellers. And because we don't hold any stock, for us to actually, it doesn't really make sense for us to actually sell because we have been approached by various large marketplaces to sell on them, and then we just say no, we can't do it. I think what we can do is we can put our huge network of retailers in touch with them so they can start selling on the marketplaces. But yeah, it's never going to be Qogita's entity itself that's going to do that.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Basically, you're a marketplace. You're not in the business of buying and selling.
Mm. And we just don't hold
Uh,
any stock.
right, right. Of course. Yeah, that's as Actorio. Interestingly enough, we also get that question quite a bit, and the answer is we used to be Amazon sellers, but once you move into software, and your clients are people who sell on Amazon, you basically have to make a choice. Didn't make sense for us to continue selling on Amazon, even though that's how we started and developed the software. So yeah, it makes perfect sense. Okay, and you are based out of the Netherlands?
Yes. Yeah. So I'm Australian, and sometimes people think I'm in Sydney, but no, I'm an expat in Amsterdam. There's a lot of us around, and we also so our headquarters in Amsterdam, and but we have another office in London too. But we are all over Europe.
Understood. And so, how does shipping does it usually ship from Amsterdam, or do different suppliers ship from different countries?
Yeah. So with shipping, I guess one thing to note is it's all free and included in the price, so you don't have to worry about that. There's going to be no extra hidden fees added on at checkout, and um, the where the goods ship from depends on where the supplier you purchase from is basically. So if you're located in Spain and then because we've got 500 suppliers on Qogita, they're all around Europe and the UK exclusively as well. And just say the supplier that you purchase from is located in France, then that order is going to be shipped from France. But we make sure the kind of service standards that we want to put out are consistent across the board, no matter where you're shipping from. So all suppliers have to pack and ship the goods or hand them over to the courier within 3 business days. And then usually it takes about 4 business days to actually be delivered. So you're looking at about a week. We say your orders should definitely arrive within 10 business days, unless something has gone wrong. And yeah, if it hasn't, then you should just reach out to support and touch base, and we'll chase it up and make sure it's moving.
Okay, yeah, that's great. Yeah, I mean, just as a side note, we in on Acteur, you can find Cogita on all marketplaces. As long as you're signed up for the essential plan and above, you'll be able to see Cogita as one of the wholesalers, and you'll be able to search. And of course, all of the shipping price is updated in Octorio. So basically, when you do a search on Octorio, you will be able to know exactly what your cost is going to be and what your margins are going to be, which is very, very important because it gives you a certain amount of predictability when you are selling on Amazon.
Yeah, and another cool thing which we have recently done, maybe I can just share my screen quickly,
Sure.
um, is so here under your Cogeta account, if you go to your account, your profile, and then come down to your shopping preferences, here you can choose the locations where you want your suppliers to ship from. I'm so bad at saying that. I hope that made sense. You can choose where you want um, the countries where you can control where your goods come from, basically. So usually you would select the whole of Europe because that gives you the widest offering because there's suppliers in every country. So if you're looking at the whole of Europe, you're going to see all our offers, all the best prices, all the supply. But if just say you're in Germany and you only want to order from Germany, so you get quicker delivery for whatever reason, you can do that. It'll restrict the catalog, but you can do that. Or inversely, we've recently changed our. You say you're in Germany and you want to order from suppliers outside of Germany, because I believe because it's then an international order, you don't have to pay local VAT. That means yeah, in the past we always added VAT at checkout no matter what. But now if your order is going to be fulfilled internationally, um, rather than charging VAT then refunding you if you were not meant to have paid it before, we will just we know in ahead of time that you should not have had to pay local VAT, and it won't be added at checkout. Um, so yeah, I think that's pretty neat that you can
Ah,
yeah, because previously it looked like you were paying 20% more. So now yeah, I think it's a pretty great feature, and it's a bit of a no brainer just to make it just to yeah, make the ordering experience a lot simpler. And then if you care about supply traceability as well, you should always have this filter selected. And if doing so means that the suppliers that you will be purchasing from are happy to share supply chain invoices with marketplaces like Amazon, because not all of our suppliers are happy to share supply chain documentation with Amazon because they're worried about the convention, and they want to yeah, or well, like whatever reason. And we don't only sell to marketplace sellers, we also sell to brick and mortar stores, and that don't require supply traceability. So a really important note, if you're selling on Amazon, that and you're getting started and you think you might need to prove chain of supply, having this filter on is a very good idea. But yeah,
yeah.
that was a little side note, but
Very important.
yeah.
Very important to document. And also, I should add that on Octorio, you basically configure what type of entity you are, if you're a sole trader, if you are VAT exempt or not, and Octorio will calculate your margins correctly. And since Octorio knows if the prices are with VAT, without VAT, your search on Octorio will always display your correct margins based on your financial. Oop.
Oh, I lost you. You're back.
Oh,
Um,
sorry.
yeah, I've got
So,
you. Got you.
yeah. So what I was saying is that on Octorio, I think what happened
Yeah,
here.
we've
I
also been
think,
kicked off the stage, but I can still hear us.
yeah. I don't know what happened here. Okay. Let me see.
Technical difficulties.
Okay.
Yeah,
What
while
happened
you fix
here?
that, I'll just also add to that point that in your cart as well, before you check out, you can also see a breakdown of all the suppliers who are going to be fulfilling your order, and also one by one whether that they're happy to share marketplace invoices with marketplaces like Amazon as well. So that's another check you can have just before you place your order to double check that proof of supply chain of supply is possible if you think you're going to need it.
Yeah, I mean, documenting your process and making sure that you are able to have this chain of supply is very important, especially if you're having trouble with Amazon and you get any IP complaints or parallel import or whatever Amazon throws at you. It's very important to have all of the documentation. Yeah. So yeah, so what I was saying is that apart from Qogita search on Octorio, when you set up your Octorio account, you say if you are a sole trader, if you are a incorporated company, if you're VAT exempt, if you're not, and Octorio will always display the correct margins based on the accounting situation that you're in. So you can be sure that when you're searching Qogita through Octorio or any other supplier for that matter, then you know what your exact margins are based on accounting principles. Great. Okay. So yeah, and how do returns work? What is your return policy normally, or what is your supplier's return policy? Does it vary depending on supplier or?
So the thing is, it's because we work with so many different suppliers. It's it's just not possible for us to coordinate returns on orders because everyone's got different policies. Everyone's in different locations. So we make it very clear that once you pay for your order, that returns aren't possible. So make sure that you're certain in what you want to order before you do order. But that said, if anything goes wrong, like anything's damaged, or things are lost in transit, or things are missing, or any of these reasons, the classic one being like someone drops the box and it's damaged in transit, is absolutely like we can organize a collection and a full refund for that. Hopefully it doesn't happen, but in that case, a return is fully possible. And yeah, so uh, as and I'll just add that we, like, again, it's all fully free and included. Qogita has a huge kind of protection for buyers, where if anything goes wrong, anything, we will sort it out and make sure you're fully refunded. And yeah, I guess you're not at any loss for anything that goes wrong. So you can buy with utter confidence, knowing that yeah, you're protected.
Excellent, excellent. And yeah, so let me see. That's great in terms of being able to be protected. Do you vouch for your suppliers if there's any problem with a specific supplier?
Yeah. So we have a whole. So I work on the buyer facing team, so working with the retailers and resellers. But the other half of the company is dedicated to supply, so brands and suppliers. And so half of them is about growing, always bringing on more brands, more supply, because we're always kind of growing our stock, the amount of price, like improving our prices, getting more brands on board. Um, but we also have part of that team that's responsible for the success and monitoring the performance of these suppliers. So if any look like they're kind of struggling a bit or repeat offenders on certain issues, then we do track that. We do track data on that, and we have account managers for those suppliers who will, feed that information back to them and make sure they know what's needed. And in the worst case scenario, we have had to deactivate suppliers in the past because they haven't been providing a sufficient service. But um, but that said, across the board, everything's been, like, looking at the numbers, the fulfillment rate, the claim has been improving, the claim rate has been dropping. So supply performance has been improving, just due to the feedback from buyers that we get, and us making sure we're working with them to offer a better and better service.
Okay, okay, very good. Well, I mean, to a great extent, that's something that we often are asked on Octorio, and Octorio is not even a marketplace. So you have a relationship with the suppliers. We don't even. We're really just a search engine. So we have a closer relationship with you guys, but that's pretty much it. And we don't offer any guarantee to any of our suppliers. But when we have suppliers that are repeat offenders, we get a lot of complaints. Then we have removed suppliers in the past.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So, very important question. So, does all of the invoice come with a barcode, with the EN code, UPC code?
Um, the invoice, um, I'm not sure I understand the question. So does the invoice
So,
have?
so, so for instance, for ungating purposes, the easiest thing is to have, I mean, ideally, the barcode of the item that you're purchasing, so you can show Amazon, this is the barcode, this is the exact item that I'm purchasing,
Yeah.
or how does that work?
Yeah, so for every order, you'll get an invoice from Qogita that contains all the information that you need for ungating. So yeah, the barcode is on there, the quantity and the prices, and all the other information that Amazon usually asks for. And yeah, the answer, I guess, to that is yes. And historically, the Qogita invoice was accepted a lot by Amazon for ungating straight off. But recently they've become more and more strict across the board. So that's why it's also helpful to have the supplier invoice as well, if needed. And then yeah, and then to also just keep trying. We've written kind of guides as well on best practices for getting ungated and kind of how to be smart with it. For example, if you're a new seller and you want to ungate a brand, but the brand is quite protected and you're not sure if it's going to work, probably not the best idea to spend €2,000 on it. It would be smarter to purchase 10 units, get ungated first, and before you place a larger order, because and we do a lot to support uh, resellers getting ungated because we know how important it is, but we also cannot always promise what Amazon will do. You really do have to be smart, do your due diligence, and yeah, and you have a good chance of success. But like, please be smart, because we can never promise anything. And I think sometimes people hang us out to dry, saying that we've promised that they can get ungated. We never do. We try to help, I think, which gives people the illusion that we promise, and we have really good success rate, which as well, I think, confuses people. But
Yeah.
yeah, we will try to help you, but just please be smart, and yeah, read our guides.
Yeah, a perfectly fair point. There's nothing, nobody can predict what Amazon's going to do. There are a few tricks to follow. First of all, make sure, like, for instance, the things that are just beyond your control, right? So if the name isn't exactly the same name as your Amazon account, then you can be sure that Amazon is going to immediately reject your invoices. So make sure everything is correct. Obviously, if the invoice is correct, make sure it's exactly the same item that you purchased. There's a lot of things that you need to do, and sometimes things that shouldn't work do work. For instance, you close the case, you reopen the case, you rename the file, the PDF file that you're uploading it. Sometimes just renaming it changes your luck with the Amazon rep, because they have exactly 5 seconds to look at your invoice. And if it takes them more than 5 seconds to validate that it's the invoice, then it's easy for them to just reject it. So
Yeah,
make sure that you make the life very, very easy to the Amazon rep when you do it, and you are much more likely to be able to ungate.
yeah, great. That's a great trick. Yeah, renaming it, because I've seen so many examples of you just have to keep trying, and eventually it will work even after all hope seems lost.
Yeah,
But yeah,
understood. Okay, great. What do you negotiate prices? Is it possible to come to Qogita and ask for a better price based on quantity? How does that work? Are you open to
yes,
that, or?
we used to do it for very large orders, but it just kind of wasn't scalable, because we just wanted to focus on our core value offering, which is offering the lowest prices possible regardless of the order size, which, if anything, is helpful for smaller players, because they know that even if they want to place a huge order, or a smaller order, they're still going to get the lowest price. We're just going to pass on the best prices possible. But that said, we are working more and more with suppliers, and we're showing all the different offers that we have, and so that granularity does allow us potentially the option to show each suppliers certain offers, and if they want to offer bulk discounts, I can see in the future that will likely come back in some form. That at the current time, we just want to focus on this very core value model, which is just offering the lowest price for everyone, regardless of how much is ordered.
Understood. Okay. So what's one surefire way to piss off Qogita? Like, what things that you've seen that some sellers do that makes you to stop wanting to sell to them?
Yeah, I think just expecting so much of us, and that it's just unreasonable. Like, we care so much about our customers and go so far out of our way to help them. We have a huge support team, and like, anytime I see kind of, negative feedback on Trustpilot from someone who maybe like has just ignored all the support material that we have created on YouTube, all our help center, all the guidance we've given, and has made a silly decision, and has maybe been unable to get ungated on Amazon, and they just blame everything on us. That hurts me deeply, because we are here to help you. We're here to work with you, and we always listen to feedback. Yeah, so I guess just keeping that in mind, people who just want to, I guess, put all the blame for us, not take any responsibility, and just make silly decisions. Yeah, that does hurt. But yeah, so I guess please, if you're new, look at our YouTube channel, look at our help center, and we've also got a community in Discord as well, where you can talk to other people who are purchasing on Qogita and selling on marketplaces or through other channels, and you can exchange tips and learn from them. And yeah, that's just another dimension of all the things we're trying to do to work with you. So yeah, I guess just yeah, that would be what I would say.
Okay, yeah, that's great. Okay, let me see. Just going through the questions. Yeah, so I think we kind of touched upon it, but it comes up a lot. So, how do you deal with, say, copyright infringement and parallel import issues? How can you support sellers in that when that happens?
So to be very clear, so we care about helping resellers get ungated because we know it's so important. But there's only so much we can do. The number one thing we care about is authenticity claims. So if any seller ever gets an authenticity claim, like assuming they've purchased from a supplier that provides marketplace invoices, which is why we say make sure you do this. We provide the supplier invoice and try and work with the supplier to do as much as we possibly can to prove to Amazon that our products are definitely authentic. But then outside of that, there's a whole world of other issues that Amazon can throw out, and there there's some which I think fall outside of our scope and fall into like the seller's responsibility. And that's where things like if there's risks of IP or PI claims, that's usually brand related, and we usually encourage sellers to be smart in terms of which brands they're purchasing from, because there are ones that pose more risks, and still like sometimes they can be solved with Qogita supply chain documentation, but it's not something that we necessarily have custom solutions for, because we think that one falls on into the responsibility of the seller. But that said, in our Discord, we have a list of brands to say, watch out for these ones, because we know that they can throw up issues. And yeah, we're also working a bit with other partner tools, like one called Buybot Pro that has like an IP radar to kind of warn again of brands that can be at risk. So we do try to help because we know these are problems, but that there are some things where we believe they do fall more into the seller's own kind of responsibility and risk management. So yeah, that's kind of so we really care about ungating. We care about ungating. We really care about authenticity, but for all the other issues, yeah, we try to educate and help, but we do say that's they are more on the seller.
Understood. Okay. Yeah, so I see a few questions here, actually more for Octorio. Are margins in Octorio accurate for UK sellers? So not directly related to StreamYard, but let me just answer that. So yeah, on Octorio, you can sell to the UK, even if you're selling to Europe, as long as you configure yourself as a European seller based in Europe, then you can use Amazon cross-border fulfillment, and the margins on Octorio will be correct for UK sellers. Okay. So Charlie, have you seen what is the best, the most creative use of AI that you've seen as with respect to Qogita? Have you seen anybody do something interesting that you might want to share?
Well, that's an interesting question. I feel like I use it so often for so many different things, and I feel you're crazy if you don't. Um, hmm, Let me think. Uh, Something that I recently was in Barcelona, attending an event called Shop Talk. It's where a lot of large e-commerce players will go, and you meet a lot of interesting companies. And one that I spoke to had a really interesting solution that used AI to scrape a whole lot of customer feedback and data on various categories. Like it would look through all the Reddit, like all these reviews on Amazon, all these different cases, then would kind of rank them based on their authority, and would come out with these very customer based um, consumer centric data on all these different product categories about like what people want, what's trending, and it was just very enriched information about every single product. And so we're thinking, how can we then kind of build that into every product in Qogita to give a full experience about what every product offers for the end consumer, because I feel like that might be something that retailers want to know, like because they're in the end they're selling these products on to consumers. So if we can provide some more information about the target markets they're ultimately going to be reaching, yeah, that is one thing. But if you
That's
gave
cool.
me some time, there'd be so many.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, definitely if you're looking at crafting plans of action for Amazon, then AI is just incredible in those things. If you are running into trouble, or if you need to, just the emotional intelligence of AI is just so incredibly high. I mean, if I think if there's one thing that the futuristic movies of the '80s got wrong, is the emotional intelligence part of AI. Is just so tactful and so good with crafting a questions in a diplomatic way. It's incredible.
Mm.
Um, okay, so I am going to open the floor to anybody who wants to ask a question in the chat. Is there anything that you want to know from the suppliers? Anything I didn't cover? Okay, we're going to wait for some questions. What I'm going to do in the meantime is I am going to show how to use Octorio on the, let me see. Yeah, here we go. So yeah, so if you're looking at Octorio, you can, in any of the countries that Qogita operates in. So let's say Spain for now, and then I will have to have wholesalers, and then I could use Qogita in Spain, and notice that you will see Qogita in any of your plans. So even if you just have the essential plan, Qogita will still show up. Okay, and if we're already here, I'm going to talk about my ideal filters. So for me, the best filters, unit profit. So the Amazon price, we put at 10. So if any of you guys are coming from, say, private label or stuff like that, these parameters are different, because here our objective is different. We really are looking for margins, and we don't have any initial investment. The unit profit, we can put 3, and since Octorio and Qogita have the profit margins very well calculated, then any positive number here is basically enough, because this is real profit, right? This is profit after all of your costs and Amazon fees. The ROI I put at 20, and then total. This is the total net profit over all units sold. I put 100, so I want to make at least 100 euros off any given ASIN. And then the total monthly sales I put at 10, right? And the reason is that this is 10 per ASIN, right? So if I go to a supplier and I buy 2, 3, 4 products, and I manage to get it up to between 600 and 1,000 euros, that's enough for me. Okay, and we're going to do a search. Octorio had a major upgrade in search speed, so now the speed of search is much quicker, and it shows a lot sooner. And here you can see, for instance, that you have a product that I'm restricted at in Germany and in France. Okay, what I usually do in these situations is I try to automatically ungate, which is to say I go and I request for the product to allow me to sell this product. If it works, great. If it doesn't, then I have to go into Amazon and get the upload the invoice of 10 units, etc., etc., we always recommend to go into Amazon and see what are the requirements for that specific brand. For instance, for this brand, you can't see my screen now, but this is a brand gating. So I see my Seller Central account, and this is brand gating, and I see that for K18, all I need is so here for K18, Amazon now requires 100 units. Which, if it's a brand, I'm not familiar with the brand, but if it's a good brand and you think that it's a good brand, then it might be worth it to buy, 100 units and sell it. Maybe obviously not at that price, but, just as an example. Okay, let's see. Are there any questions here? Okay, I don't see any questions. Okay, so let's go back to my list of questions. Yeah. So, what kind of trends do you see in the last 2 years that you haven't seen, say, before? How has the market changed since you've been involved?
Um, well, I guess one thing, I guess, firstly on the Amazon side is I think things have been getting more and more difficult, which is, I guess, frustrating for everyone, including us. But I've also noticed so many new marketplaces that are popping up. I think that are also potentially great places to sell that aren't Amazon, that are much less restrictive, and the demand is growing and there. So I think people people should maybe consider, like, there isn't just Amazon out there, and if you get gated, there are other opportunities and other ways to sell stock. Yeah, that's one thing. But in terms of maybe brands, I can speak for recently. Like, I know that something that Qogita sells a lot of and has become really popular is the Korean skincare brand, and also these Arabian fragrances. And so they're classic brands of, they're not like the huge mega established players like L'Oreal and Dior. And they kind of are having these distribution problems, and we're a really cool solution. And so we're the brands, or we're trying to work more and more directly with those brands, and they're the ones we're onboarding directly, which is quite cool because yeah, there's a big push towards yeah, those brands, and they're trending hard. And I think the reason they're trending hard is it's not in the last 2 years, but it's been the big kind of change that I think is allowed Cogeta to exist is that, like, product trend cycles, they used to happen. They used to last for decades. If you look at something like Chanel No. 5, that that product has been on the market for over 1 year. Oh, sorry, 100 years. But these days, a product can, hit the market and go viral in a matter of weeks. And so um, the the rate at which that consumer demand can move means that for these brands, distribution at rapid pace becomes critical. And so I think a lot of the ways we're digitizing things and overcoming a lot of these bottlenecks becomes really interesting for these brands that are trying to break into the market and are getting viral and are going big overnight. And hopefully they're a good way for the retailers to source these products when they go viral quickly, and then it means that the consumers can end up accessing them as well. So yeah, there's some trends.
Interesting. Yeah, yeah. The TikTok is definitely revolutionized things, and people. Yeah, the latest trend that I've seen is the Dubai chocolate, which, by the way, I've tried, and it's freaking amazing. So, now all the cool kids are making it at home.
Might have to get some of
Um,
that.
oh yeah, if you haven't tried Dubai chocolate, it's amazing. Charlie, do you have any questions for me? Do you have anything else that you think our listeners, our viewers should know about?
No, I just we've really loved partnering with Factorio because I think it's one of the biggest problems that Qogita users have is finding good deals because we have such a big catalog, and um, Actoria just provides such a fantastic way to actually, I guess, break down our whole catalog based on these filters and find what are the good deals based on certain things that you're looking for, certain categories, like everything that you need to consider, I guess, that goes into making a purchase decision. And I guess it's just been a really rewarding partnership, I think, on both sides. So yeah, just a huge recommendation to everyone out there to give it a crack if you haven't already. And yeah, long may it continue.
Great. Okay, so Charlie, thank you very much for your time. And yeah, where is the best? What is the best way to contact you, follow you, your socials, your
Yeah.
contacts?
Yeah. Yeah, I would say you can always email me, charlie@cogita.com, if you have any questions. But otherwise join our Discord community, which if you go to the Cogita homepage down the very bottom, and then in the footer on the right, you'll see join our community. And I'm in there. I'm fairly active along with some of my colleagues. So yeah, it as if you want fast feedback and lessons from other sellers, yeah, that's absolutely the place to go.
Okay, great stuff. Okay, so Charlie, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me, Aro. It was
And
always good to chat.
yeah, great. So we're going to end the stream here. And of course, you can contact us at actoria.com. Let me just add the banner here. Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
Okay. Yeah. Just I'm playing
High
around with
tech.
my new toy.
Mm.
Exactly. Excellent. Okay, so we're going to end the stream. Thank you very much, and hope to hear you from you soon and see your sales.
Ciao.
Ciao.